In last week's video, I shared a 4-row repeat using the fan and V-stitch, and today we're building on that with something even bolder, the box stitch. This is named the box stitch because it gives the illusion that each shell is framed within a 3D box. This stitch is such a showstopper, but I do know that an 8-row repeat may seem intimidating, but this one is surprisingly easy once you recognize the pattern. Instead of trying to watch the video and memorize all the rows, that's near impossible. I'm going to break it down into bite-sized parts to help you visualize those steps as we go along. So for example, the very first 2 rows to make this shell sequence here are just your setup rows. They are not part of the repeat. And then after that, we're completing 4 rows to complete 1 shell segment, and then another 4 rows to complete the next shell segment. And the main difference between these two is just how we start. For this first sequence of 4 rows, we're doing a half shell, and then the second group of 4, we're doing the full shell. And the beauty of this is those 4 rows for each of those segments is ridiculously simple. For this sample, I'm going to be using a weight 4 cotton yarn with a 4mm hook. Adding a slip knot to my hook. To begin, create a chain using a multiple of 10 plus 2. That just means you're going to go 10, 10, 10 until you reach your width, and then add 2 more at the very end. For example, here I have a chain of 42. I highly recommend that you grab yourself a stitch marker. It's really going to help because with this pattern, it is really easy to lose a chain along the way. To begin, add a single crochet in the second chain from the hook. 1, 2. Next, skip 4 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then in the 5th, we're going to create our first shell. The shell we're making today is 5 double crochets, chain 1, 5 double crochets. That's 1 double crochet made. Now before we continue on, we're going to be skipping 4 chains all the way across. I'd recommend that you do that now and add a stitch marker into the 5th chain. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's because these chains are going to get very tight as we're making our shell, making it very easy to lose one. So we've done 1 double so far. Five doubles, chain 1, and then 5 more in the same chain. Skip 4 chains and work a single crochet into the 5th chain. We've already figured out where that is. And we're just going to continue this all the way across. Skip 4 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, work a shell into the 5th. Before I move on, I'm skipping 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, stitch marker in the 5th chain. Continuing on with my shell, I've done 1 so far. That's 5 doubles, chain 1, 5 doubles, all in the same chain space. Continue all the way across. When you come to the end, you should see 5 remaining chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Great. Add a single crochet into the very last chain. And you'll have something that looks like this. For row 2, chain 1 and turn. And now we're going to give texture to our shells with front post single crochets. Now, if you've never done this before, really, really easy to do. To do a front post single, take your hook and go behind the post of the double crochet, yarn over and pull through. And now complete your single like you normally would. Yarn over, pull through 2. And that's your front post single crochet. Now a big tip here, once you've done this, it's very easy to skip over the next double crochet because it's hidden behind that post. So be sure and catch it. We want to do a front post single for every double crochet across. So we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make a chain 1 to match the chain 1 on the other side. And now just continue this for the next 5 double crochets. Front post single, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're doing the same thing for the single crochet between the shells. Take your hook, go behind the single crochet. You'll have 2 legs of yarn. Pull your yarn through, yarn over, pull through 2. We're just going to continue this all the way across. Going to the next shell, front post single for each double crochet. Keep an eye on your tension with this. Be sure to pull your loop up, make it level with the other loop on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. This will just help prevent this from getting too tight. Chain 1 before you continue on with the other 5 doubles. Front post single around the single between the shells. Continue this all the way across. When you come to the end, 1 single into the final stitch. So that's your first 2 rows completed. If you are changing colors, it's time to do that now. These first 2 rows were just the setup row. They are not included in the 8-row repeat. So let's go ahead and change colors and get ready for that. Join your new color however you like best. I'll show you one way. Before you complete that final single crochet, when you have 2 loops on your hook, bring it in your new color, pull through. That will complete the stitch and start your color change. We're starting row 3 and this is the beginning of our 8-row repeat. These next 4 rows are going to create the half shell sequence. To begin row 3, chain 4 and turn. Row 3 is our V-stitch row. We're going to create V-stitches all the way across, which is where we'll be putting our shells later on. So here in the very first stitch, we're creating our first V-stitch. The chain 4 serves as a double crochet and a chain 1. Double crochet into the very first stitch, right at the base of the chain you just made. Just a quick tip here, the V-stitches on the ends are going to be a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. but for the rest of the row, it will be a double, chain 2, double. Chain 3, this is going to get us across to the middle of our shell. And in the chain 1 space in the back, add a single crochet. Chain 3, skip over those 5 double crochets, and we're doing another V-stitch into the single crochet here in the back. So here's the one in the front, here's the one in the back. And if you have a hard time finding it, your yarn kind of does a crisscross. Double crochet, chain 2, double crochet. Remember, this is going to be holding more doubles, so it needs to be slightly bigger than the one on the sides. Chain 3, single crochet into the chain 1 space behind here. Chain 3, V-stitch into the single crochet in the back. Double, chain 2, double. And we're just going to continue this all the way across. Chain 3, and in the very last stitch we're doing the double, chain 1, double. We worked chains here, so just do the best you can to make it as nice and tidy as you can. Try to pick up 2 stitches or 2 bands of yarn just to give it some substance. Chain 1, double crochet. For row 4, chain 1 and turn. And this is a really easy row. We're basically matching or mirroring what we've already done. We're not doing the same stitches. We're just trying to get our way across with the same stitch count. So with that said, work a single crochet into the very first stitch. We did a chain 1 here, so chain 1, single into the top of that double. Chain 3, we're just matching what we did. Single into the single. Chain 3, single into the top of the previous double. Remember, we were doing chain 2s, single into the previous double, and so on, all the way across. Coming to the end, single, chain 1, and a single into the top of that chain 3. 1, 2, 3. I love that row. It's so simple and fast. Row 5 is our shell row. So chain 3 and turn. Your chain 3 does count as a stitch for the side, but now we're doing our 5 double crochets into the V-stitch 2 rows below. That's your half shell. 5 double crochets. So essentially you should see 6 double crochets over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And this is where the magic begins. This is where everything comes together. We're going to do a single crochet into the front chain 1 space of the shell. We're going to skip all the way across to the next available V-stitch and work a full shell now. So it's 5 double crochets. You're working over everything. Chain 1, and then another 5 into the same V-stitch space. Add a single crochet into the front chain 1 space of the previous shell. Beautiful. And we're just going to continue this all the way across. A shell into the next available V-stitch, single crochet into the front chain one space of the next shell. For the last V-stitch on the side, 5 double crochets. Remember, it's just a half shell. And then finally, a double crochet in the top of the beginning chain 3. Chains are never fun to work into. Just do your best. And now we're going to give the 3D effect to this shell. For that, we're just doing front post single crochets. So chain 1 and turn to begin row 6. Single crochet into the very first stitch. That is not part of the shell. But from here on out, we are doing the front post single crochet for the doubles of our shell. So that's 5 doubles on the side. Like before, we're doing a front post single crochet around the single crochet, but it's a little bit harder to see because we have all of these chains in front of it. So just pull that forward and you'll find your single crochet. Grab your hook, go through. You'll actually be catching 3 strands of yarn, but you're looking for that V to find your single. Pull through everything, pull up your loop, stay in alignment with the other loop, and single crochet. And we're just going to continue this all the way across. Now we're with the full shell, so that's 5 front post singles, chain 1 to get over to the next set, and then 5 front post singles. Front post single around the single, and continue along all the way across. Okay, finishing the 5th double crochet of that shell, and then for that final chain 3, we're doing a single crochet into the top of it, or you can go between the stitches if you prefer. It really doesn't matter. And that's your 4-row repeat for your half shell group. If you're changing colors, go ahead and do that now. Starting on row 7, we're starting the full shell sequence. So because of that, we don't need to start high, we want to start low. We start high for the half shell, we're going to start low for the full shell. Chain 1 and turn, and a single crochet into the very first stitch. Now we're doing a V-stitch row for our very first row of the sequence, just like the previous set of 4. Chain 3, and we're going to V-stitch into the single crochet between the shells. And since we're not on the side, our V-stitch will be a double, chain 2, double. Chain 3, single crochet into the chain 1 space. Remember, it's the chain 1 back here in the back. Chain 3, V-stitch into the single below. Chain 3, single into the single in the back, chain 3, V-stitch into the single. Row 8, chain 1 and turn. Any guesses on what we're doing here? That's right, the mirroring or matching row. Single into the very first single. Now we're just going to match the stitch count with chains and singles to get us to the other side. So that's chain 3, single into the double, chain 2, single into the double, chain 3, single into the single. And I think you know what we're doing here, so I'm just going to continue on and I'll see you on the other side. At the end, did my final chain 3, single into the very last stitch. And now we're ready for row 9. Chain 1 and turn. So here, instead of doing the single crochet into the very first stitch, you want to do it down here in the space between the starting chain and the 5 double crochets here on the side. Take your hook, go through, single crochet. That's going to hold it up nice and high. Time to do a full shell here in the V-stitch from 2 rows below. 5 doubles. Chain 1, 5 doubles, all in the same V-stitch space. Single crochet into the front chain space of the previous shell. Beautiful. That is my favorite bit of the whole pattern. I just love when that comes together. And then full shell into the next available V-stitch. Just continue this all the way across, and I'll see you at the other end. Just finished my last full shell. We're at the very end, and we want to catch that shell, so add a single crochet between the 5 doubles and that chain 3 space. And for our final row 10, chain 1 and turn, single crochet into the very first stitch, and now we're just doing the front post single crochets in all of the shells and the single crochets in between. Chain 1, continue across. Remember, push all of that gunk to the front to find your single. Finished my last shell. We just need to do a single crochet into the very last stitch. To continue on, you're going to repeat rows 3 through 10 until you complete your project. And again, be sure to check the description box where you can find a little reference key to help you with that. If you want to match the scallop edge and do it at the base, I would recommend that you just kind of mirror or mimic the same stitches, staying on the front side or the right side. This is just an experiment. Fasten on in the top of the chain, 1, 2, 3. Just going to go into that space there. If you like this idea, you can fine tune it. I'm going to skip all the way over to the center and work a shell. Going to single crochet into that single, and then continue this all the way across. Okay, single into the very last stitch, chain 1 and turn, single into that chain, and let's add a front post single to these doubles. Chain 1. Do you see what I'm doing here? I'm just mimicking what we've been doing, just trying to make it look similar. Front post single like we did during the pattern, and so on. Single into the last single. I'm going to leave it there. I am really chuffed with that. Another thought with this is you could alternate the color. This might look nice with one of the other colors, but regardless of that, I'm really excited with that. This stitch may take you a little bit of time, but the rewards are enormous. This creates a squishy, soft fabric that's really going to wow your friends and family. If you like the look of this, but it still feels a little bit too much for right now, then I recommend that you do watch this video. It's going to give you the same look, but with half the work, and you're still going to get a beautiful, beautiful stitch. If you enjoyed this video, a like is always appreciated. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.